report. Hanging at the fish report. Hanging at the fish report. Hanging at the fish report. For your latest news in high school sports, tune in to the fish report. Don't need no bed, don't need no pull. When you tune in to the fish report. Hanging at the fish report. Hanging at the fish report. You got Craig and TK and Heather D. Tune in at the fish report.
Coming to you live from Studio F in Russia, Ohio. It's the Fish Report Live Show with your hosts, Craig Fissinger and Ken Francis.
Tune in to the fish report.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to another Fish Report Live. Thanks for waking up with us. I'm Craig Fissinger. That is Ken Francis. We're your host. Back in our sound room this morning, it's Heavy D, and TK has the week off, so Ross is filling in for him. We'll talk to them a little bit later in the program. Out in studio are, of course, it's Covey and Kearns. We don't give them any time off, so they're out there ready to go. And Ken, another fun morning on FRL. See, you got your Made for More coffee cup filled to the brim.
You got that right. You know, that's like you said, early Thursday morning here. You talked about Covey and Kearns back there. Absolutely, they don't get any time off. Heck, sometimes Kearns is over there sleeping. Sometimes he's eating his cereal. But I'll tell you what, they're going to be here every morning. So, but yeah, Craig, fun show again this morning planned. We got Covington star Sammi Whiteman getting up early with us this morning. She leads the Covington girls basketball program, Craig. All she's done in her career is score over 1,400 points, currently averaging over 23 points a game. She's signed to play college basketball at Trevika Nazarene College. Really looking forward to talking to the Buck basketball star, seeing what her makes that team go this year, talk about some of her teammates and the rest of the Buccaneer program.
Yeah, she came into this season with 1,300 points. I got to be honest with you, Ken. I had to think. I thought maybe she graduated already. That many points. Mm-hmm. She's got to be a senior. No, she was just a junior last year, and she's rattling them off again. Almost 25 points a game coming into that last game earlier this week against TV South. But, yeah, looking forward to talking to her. Going to talk a lot of girls tonight. Also going to talk a little bit of boys. So let's start out with the boys, Ken, and the Shelby County athletically. Kind of off to a little bit of a slow start. Fort Laramie hasn't played a game yet. Fairlawn hasn't played a game yet, but 5 of the 7 teams did get to play last week. Let's talk about them a little bit, your impressions after the first week.
Well, Craig, you know, I attended the Russia-Jackson Center game, of course, and 2 great teams there battling it out. You know, it was a typical Russia-Jackson Center game, Craig. I'd love to go back in the scorebooks and you know, other than a few games here and there, for the most part, those games are typically always very, very close. Coach Scott Elker did a phenomenal job. Coach Borchers in his debut did as well. And, you know, the big win for the Raiders on Saturday night as they rebounded from that tough loss to the Tigers. Congratulations to Coach Borchers for getting his first varsity victory against St. Henry. So, but Anna, Craig, you know, they got off to a 1-0 start. Like you said, Laramie hasn't played yet. I think the Anna Rockets, Craig, are going to be a really, really tough basketball team. You know, they've got a lot of speed. They got some size. But, you know, never count out Jackson Center, Fort Laramie, Russia. You know, I know Bockens has got a lot of great young talent, as does Fairlawn and Howson. So it's a very balanced league, Craig. I'm sticking to what I said earlier in the year. I think several losses might get you a share for the championship. You know, 9-3, maybe 10-2. But there's a lot of balance in the league this year.
Yeah, I'm anxious to see if Fort Laramie and Fairlawn, how they come out their first couple games. And certainly we had Coach Sean Powell from Bockens on here. He made his debut this past week, and what a tough draw for him to go over to Anna for his first game. But talked to a guy that scouted that game, said that Bockens will be just fine. He said they got a tough place to play there in that first game. He said, but they're going to win some games this year, so they'll be just fine. And that Russia-Jackson Center game you mentioned, felt like I was at the game as well. Felt like Jackson maybe got Russia to play more of their half-court kind of game, and Russia maybe not a run and gun type of team, but I feel like they play better maybe when it's up tempo a little bit more.
Absolutely, and they proved that Saturday night, taking on a good St. Henry team. Craig dropped 62 points on the Redskins, and you know they just really had a great game, and And, like you said, they kind of got in that slow-down basketball game there with Coach Elkert. His teams always play phenomenal defense. They do the right things, Craig. They're very patient on the offensive end, and they were led by a great player in Aiden Reichert. And, he hurt Russia. He had 18 points. Senior Trenton Plattfoot had 14, and that was enough to get the win for Coach Elkert and his team.
Yeah, well, a very nice article on Coach Elkert yesterday morning on Press Pros Magazine. If you haven't seen that, pressprosmagazine.com, and a very neat article on Scott Elkert if you want to know more about him as a coach. So great stuff there, Ken. We're going to talk more about boys basketball in the weeks to come, that's for sure. But let's switch over to the girls basketball, and for that, we're going to go out to Studio R, check in with Covey and Kearns. And guys, no more football to talk about. We're finally done with football, but certainly lots of basketball to talk about. I know Covey and myself have had a chance to call a few Russia Raiders games the last week or so. Guys, let's talk about the SCA a little bit. What's your thoughts on that? And touch on some of the other conferences in the area too, like maybe the MAC and the CCC.
Well, I think the SAL has really been stated kind of clearly kind of what we thought. It's Larmy's race to lose here, and they've certainly shown that with their big win over Russia by 26 Saturday. We know Russia plays Anna. That'll be a big determiner in who's going to be Larmy's biggest competition to win the league. Larmy, the defending league champs from last year, have fantastic players from players like Marissa Myring, who we know is going to be probably a first-team all-selection. They're having other players step up in as Dana Rose. They're still a very young team. Their majority, I don't think they have any seniors. The majority of them will be back next year. So it'll be a very good team, and they should make it in the regionals. Definitely challenge Minster. This team made it to the regional finals last year. And this game Saturday between Anna and Russia will be the one to watch in the area.
Yeah, you said it best there, Covey. It's definitely Lormy's league here after that dominating performance over Russia. I mean, they just had them from the beginning tip-off. They were dominating Russia plain as day. And it's definitely going to be Lormy's to win. Anna's going to be their main competition. I think that win over Lormy definitely made the whole league step back and just realize how this young team, how dominant they are. And it's just going to be, I think, Anna and Lormy, that's going to be the defining game of the league, and whoever wins that, I mean, if Anna can knock them off, it'll make it a three-way race with one losses for Anna, Lormy, and Russia. But if Lormy can win that, that'll be great for them early in this first round of play.
Well, hold on a second, guys. I mean, you're talking about Anna and Fort Laramie here, but Russia, granted, they did have their way with the Lady Raiders last Saturday, but that was with a Larissa Poling that wasn't exactly 100% healthy.
Yeah, you're very right, and it'll be a very different game. I think I've talked to some Laramie fans. They said one concern they have for when they come to Claire C. Neveau Gymnasium is the adjustment of the court size. Laramie has a college-sized floor. I don't know if a lot of people know that. But compared to Russia, which is generally a smaller gym, they're very concerned about that, and a more 100% Larissa Poling. I do expect it to be a very close game next time, but obviously Laramie is going to be the favorite, and rightly so.
Yeah, I'm not saying count out Russia by any means. I mean, Larissa wasn't healthy, and it's a young team. They lost a lot of senior talent with Camille Wilson and Whitney Plyman leaving. So they're a fairly young team with new faces on the court. But Laramie had their way with them, and coming to Russia with a win like that for Laramie coming back to Russia, they're going to be confident. And with Larissa 100% back, it'll be a closer game. But I think it's still Laramie's.
Kearns, I got to agree with you there. I've watched this Laramie team play. I know a lot of their young talent. I know. Coach Timmerman's going to give it everything he has, and nothing against the Lady Raiders and Coach Timmerman, because he is a fantastic basketball coach. I think he's one of the brilliant young minds in high school basketball in this entire area. But Coach Carla Siegel, guys, her team is loaded. And I'm going to tell you what, she has no seniors. Mark it down right now. Them and Minster, regional finals or regional semifinals, wherever they pair up. But I'm going to tell you what, I think the Wildcats are going to be tough to beat this year, but boy, Fort Laramie is going to give it everything they have. And I'm not pushing this season aside, but boy, do they have a lot of talent coming through that pipeline. And boy, Coach Carla Siegel, she's smiling every night when she goes to bed.
Yeah, I wouldn't mark down a Minster-Laramie regional final battle of State Route 66 there quite yet, Ken, because right in the cross-county conference, there's Tri-Village, who has the same grade junior class that's very talented with Trisha Porter, Maddie Downing, and Lisa Seiler. Those three are assassins. They also got Emma Prince. They got Maddie Downing has a sister, I think, that's a freshman that's playing on varsity. Porter can shoot the lights out of the ball. Seiler drives, and she's very fast. And Downing's a big 6'1" force in there. That's basically the equivalent of a Larissa Poling. So I think the way it will go, is I expect Laramie and Tri-Village to meet up in a potential regional semifinal, and I really want to see that because I think that is about as evenly matched as you can get with any girls basketball team in this area with the top teams. I think Minster's the prohibitive favorite, and they should be with Pranger, Wolf, and Hoying in the backcourt. We'll get to the MAC in a moment. But the CCC, very talented. We had a chance to watch Newton. I mean, they shouldn't be a fixture in the top half, but they'll have a decent year. They lost Tatum McBride. But we'll have Covington star Sammi Whiteman on. She'll carry a majority of the load offensively. They lost Jordan Lyle, who was a very important piece of their team last year to graduation. But Sammi is going to really have to take over that team. I expect them to be a district team, but potentially playing Russia in the district finals to see who punches their ticket to regionals. So I think that should be a very good team. In Miami East as well, they have Morgan Haney, who's a University of Albany commit. Their Division I school play in the American East Conference, along with schools like Vermont and the University of Boston.
Covey, you pretty much said it all right there, didn't you?
Hey, Kearns, how do you top that?
No, I'm just here to look good. That's about it. Covey pretty much got it all there for you, ladies and gentlemen.
That was a good report there, Kobe. And you are exactly right. The Tri-Village Patriots, I agree with you, Kobe, they're a very good basketball team.
Yeah, and we're going to round out the MAC here. Now, we got a defending state champion Minster, definitely the prohibitive favorite in the MAC with Pranger. We got Ivy Wolf, who got her first Division I offer from Detroit Mercy this summer. Janae Hoying, who played JV a majority of the year, came up and played on varsity. And then they got other players like Damaris Wolf, Jessica Falk, who will be key in their team. They had a very good JV team as well. So I expect Minster to be the favorite in Division IV. Not too far behind them, the Versailles Tigers. They'll have the two posts down low and Ording and Winter, who will be a big combination for them. They lost a lot of good seniors to graduation last year. Let's see who steps in and replace them. Dark horse in the MAC can be the Fort Recovery Indians. They made it to the district finals last year, ultimately lost to Minster. But we don't talk about them a whole lot, but they got some good players over there by the name of Olivia Patch and Val Mullenkamp, and I forget which one, but I think one of them's committed to maybe go play at Findlay. So they have a very good dynamic duo over there, and Fort Recovery is a team people shouldn't sleep on over there.
Yeah, Versailles too, and Versailles and Minster both made it to state last year. And Versailles, Minster reloaded with pretty much the exact same team, only losing a few seniors with all those familiar names. Courtney Pranger, the D1 commit to Xavier, Ivy Wolf, Janae Hoying, Jessica Falk, Damaris Wolf, and throughout the whole bench, they have a plethora of athletes that Coach Wiss is just salivating at the mouth with because he's got a fantastic group of young athletes there, and they're probably going to run the table in the MAC and make their way all the way back to the regional finals against, like you said, Tri-Village or Laramie.
Yeah, and you said Courtney's a Xavier commit. Xavier's got their big cross-town shootout game with rival Cincinnati, so go X.
Kobe, look at this.
Go X this week with new coach Travis Steele visiting Cincinnati's beautiful new facility. Ohio State played them there in the first game of the year. It's a real nice facility they got at Cincinnati, so go X.
All right, guys, great stuff with that. And that was a lot of fun. I enjoyed talking about the different conferences there, the SCAL, the MAC, the CCC. I think we'll do more of that in the weeks to come. Sound good to you?
Absolutely. And I'll tell you what, that Kobe and Kearns over there, Craig, they know their stuff.
Well, they're up bright and early, so
they are.
They're ready to go. All right, well, we're going to take a short break, but stay right there. When we come back, we're going to talk some more girls basketball, including that big interview with senior star Sammi Whiteman.
In the motherland, you were born with heart, raised on pride. This vinegar runs through your bloodline. Oh, 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 loaded, bruised, and slain. Oh, 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 pride in this name. Devised by foolish views. Religion
And welcome back to the second half of Fish Report Live. Before the break, we were talking some girls basketball, talked about the SCAL, the MAC, and of course the CCC. And that team we saw at the top of the CCC right now is the Covington Buccaneers. That brings us to our next guest. She's a senior star with the Covington girls basketball program. Her Lady Bucks are off to a 4-1 start. She's averaging a team high 23.4 points per game so far this season. We welcome to the show now Sammi Whiteman. Sammi, welcome to Fish Report Live.
Thank you for the opportunity. I've been looking forward to it.
Well, listen, thanks for giving us a little bit of your time. You know, Sammi, this time of year, we often hear the phrase, it's the most wonderful time of the year. And, of course, most people are talking about the holidays, but I imagine with you, it could also include the basketball season as well.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I love it. If I'm not playing it, I'm watching it, so it's fun.
Well, listen, I just mentioned your Lady Bucks are off to a great start. They're 4-1 overall, 2-0 in the conference. And we often talk on this show about how tough the SCAL is and the MAC is. But I tell you what, the CCC, we've seen it for the last several years. It's a dogfight every night, isn't it?
Yeah, and it continues to grow. I mean, there's teams like Tri-Village, Arcana, Miami, Franklin Monroe, and they're all great competition. So they're fun to play against, and we love playing the top teams.
Sammi, hi. Good morning to you. This is Ken. Appreciate you getting up early on the show with us today. Question for you, you're obviously a key part of the Covington Buccaneers' success over there, but you've got a few other seniors that have contributed that you've been playing with for a long, long time. Could you tell us who some of them seniors are?
Yeah, for sure. There's 4 of us. One of them is our post, Lauren Christian. She's a beast. She's a very physical player and just an overall great leader for our team. We have another post, Lillian Hamilton. She's very tall and lengthy. She's our rim protector. She gets the blocks for us. And then our 4th senior is Leah Pulling. She played JV last year, and she's putting solid minutes in for us this year, too. So we're pretty excited about our senior class.
Sammi, so it sounds like you got 4 seniors there, but you're showing the leadership to the younger kids over there. Success breeds success. So who are some of the underclassmen that you guys are bringing along to help build this, continue this Covington Buccaneer program?
So we have a good amount of juniors and freshmen, too. Some of our juniors are Morgan Kimmel, Morgan Lowe, Brenda Miller, Autumn Rich, and Josie Crowell. Morgan Kimmel, she's a smaller post, but she's very physical, and she definitely outplays her size. She eats in there. Morgan Lowe is very quick, and she's our best defender. Then Brenda and Autumn both put good minutes in for us at the guard positions, and Josie Crowell is currently out with an ACL injury, but we're hoping she's back before the season ends. And then we also have 2 freshmen on varsity. Kenzie Machino, she's a hustler. She gets on the boards, and when she's in, everything's going, and she works hard. And then Claudia Harrington, she's a perimeter player, and she's very effective for us in multiple ways.
Sammi, let's talk a little bit about the success of the Buccaneer program. You're coming off back-to-back 20-win seasons. And a lot of this, it's, led by yourself, the talent you've got, but also the very successful coach in Jim Meyer. Coach Meyer came back to the Buccaneer program. He spent some time in the program many, many years ago, came back and has kind of resurrected things. Tell us about Coach Meyer and what excitement he brings to your whole program.
With Coach Meyer, he's not just an awesome coach, but he's just an awesome person in general. So whether it's practice or film or a game, his energy is just vibrant, and we all feed off of that. Not many kids really get the opportunity to play under someone who not only makes us better as a team, but he makes us better as individuals too and as people. So that's pretty awesome to be around. I think we play so hard because we have that connection with him, and we want to do well for him.
Sammi, let's talk about a game last week. You took on a phenomenal team in the Versailles Tigers. The game was close early on, almost until halftime, actually, when Coach Rotterman over there at Versailles, she decided that one person wasn't good enough to guard you. She decided to put 2 people on you, and eventually I think 3 people guarding you to slow you down. How did you make adjustments? You know, as good as a player as you are, you're going to probably see that more than just once this season. What kind of adjustments do you see yourself making on the court when you have 2 or sometimes 3 people guarding you?
Right. Before every game, Coach just tells us to go in with the mentality that the team we're playing is the best team we're going to play all year, and to just leave everything on the floor no matter what they throw at us. So I think as a team, like when things like that happen, we all know our role, and everybody steps up in ways they need to. And sometimes we might lose to teams like Versailles or other really good programs, but by teams doing that, to me, it's making my teammates better and helping us grow as a team. So we try to look at it that way and just adjust in whichever ways we need to.
Hey, Sammy, this is Craig again, and I read a pretty neat article on you on Press Pros Magazine here the other day when you guys played your game a little bit earlier this week. And Sonny Folks, the writer there, talked about you having some crazy type of drills that you do, I guess, or getting to the gym early, that kind of thing. You got to fill me in. What kind of crazy drills are you doing maybe that isn't something we normally see in a practice?
Coach Meyer's old school, so he likes to make jokes about it. But it's just I do a lot of cone drills and resistance band stuff, 2-ball moves, and just ways I can work my mind while also growing my skills as a basketball player.
Well, listen, one thing we like to talk to is successful high school basketball players about is not only their high school team, but also their summer team or their spring team, or as many people know, the AAU team. Can you tell us who you played AAU ball for, and maybe some of your teammates locally that we might be familiar with?
Yeah, I played for the Dayton Lady Hoop Stars premier team this past summer, and I played for their elite team the summer before. Some of the teammates around here that people might know, Morgan Haney from Miami, she's a guard. Courtney Pringer from Minster and Larissa Pulling from Russia are probably the most known around here.
That's some pretty good talent there you're playing with, Sammy. I bet you playing with them just gives a whole different perception to the game as well because, with that type of talent.
Oh, for sure. I mean, playing with them this past summer, I could just tell that being around players like that really grew my skill and helped me become the person I am this year. So I was really thankful that I had that opportunity.
All right, well, listen, one more question before we let you go, but we also like to always ask high school seniors where they plan to go to college at. And I just read here recently where you signed with a school down in Nashville, which I love the city because I like to go to the honky tonks down there on Broadway. But I imagine you chose it for a few other reasons. Can you tell us where you're going to school at and why you chose that school?
Yeah, I'm going to Trevecca Nazarene University in Nashville, which you said, which right there is that's a big reason. I love that part. But it just felt like home away from home. I love the atmosphere, not only of just the school, but of the basketball program and the coach's mindset. I just thought it was very similar to what Coach Meyer always preaches and what I've always been used to. And then it's just a great Christian and academic school, which was huge for me.
That's great, Sammy. Congratulations on an outstanding career that you've had over there at Covington. Best of luck to you the rest of this season, your college careers, and it's been a pleasure having you this morning on the Fish Report. You're a great player. You're fun to watch, and good luck to you the rest of the season, and go Bucks.
Thank you so much. Have a great day.
Yeah.
Thank you. All right, that was Covington senior star Sammi Whiteman, and we're going to get a chance to see her. Of course, Russia plays them every season, and it's a lot of fun to watch.
Craig, I seen her play twice. I think it was last year. Once in regular season, once in tournament, and boy, she's good.
Yeah,
she's good.
Very athletic.
She's good.
All right, well, let's check in with the guys back in the sound room. Of course, we got Heavy D, TK off this week. Got Ross filling in for him. Good morning, guys, and Ross, thanks for taking TK's seat.
Oh yeah, no problem.
Well, listen, one thing TK always does is chooses our SCAL Star of the Week. Are you going to do that job for him this week, or are you going to let him catch up next week?
I'll just give a quick shout out to Jack's center player Aiden Reichert for having a great game on Friday against Russia. 18 points, played great defense, and overall great.
Yeah, just a sophomore, and he did. He looked very good.
He's got a high level motor on him, and I'll tell you what, he's fun to watch play.
Ross, I know you had a chance to see him play. Been to a few AAU tournaments where you see some of the older kids playing, and I know you and I both got a chance to see him play a little bit. And he definitely works on his sport not only during the winter but as the spring as well.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, well, good stuff. And Heavy D, I know you had an exciting weekend. Took about, 3-4 days and went over to the nation's capital.
I did. I missed the opening weekend of boys basketball, but this trip was well worth it. We for some reason, me and the missus and a good couple of ours, the Gubos, we got a private tour of the West Wing at the White House.
Wow.
And I just want to flash up a couple pictures here. This is us standing at the entrance of the West Wing where the Vice President enters the office every day. We got a chance to tour the press briefing room. And here we are with my better half. And, the President came in, and I had a chance to actually ask him a question, but he didn't answer it. He just walked away. And but we did get to go and actually see, and I stepped my foot into the Oval Office and the Cabinet briefing room, and it was a great experience, 1 in a million, and it was well worth the trip. But the question comes from this week. Ask Heavy D comes from Mrs. Schultze in Marion Local High School. She teaches government over there, and she writes, "Dear Mr. Heavy, if you had a chance to go back in time and visit with one of the presidents, who would it be?" Well, she asked that question, and we went to D.C., so it kind of all worked out there. And then this week, my pick for Mrs. Schulte's question, before this weekend, it would have been somebody like Abe Lincoln or George Washington, somebody boring like that. But after I got to understand the life and the history of Bush 41, he's my choice. And I'll tell you a little bit the reason why. There's been a lot of news the last couple of days with the funeral and all that good stuff. But he, after Pearl Harbor, he gave up on his college career initially and entered World War II as a pilot. And from there, he went on to hold a number of positions within the U.S. government. He was in the House of Representatives, the ambassador to the UN, the RNC chairman, the U.S. liaison to China. He was the director of the CIA, and as we know him most famously as Vice President and President of the United States. So, my pick, Mrs. Schultze, would be definitely George H.W. Bush would be the guy I'd like to spend a lot of time with. He's done it all, from military to family to the government and civil servant. Now, he's the man.
Heavy D, I got a question. Did they do a background check on you before you went into the White House?
They did. And
because if they know what I know, I'm not sure they would have let you in.
Before we submitted our information, I went through my Twitter feed and cleared it out. And I disconnected myself from everybody on Fish Report so they wouldn't trap me there. So I had to look pretty clean going in.
When you seen those high-ranking officials there, did Mr. President Donald, did he say anything about Fish Report? Did he say, you look familiar, you got a sports show or anything like that? Or did they recognize us and all, Craig and I?
No, well, we did when we were touring the White House. We did see out in the Rose Garden, Barron Trump, his son, has a soccer net out there. That was about the closest we got to sports.
Yeah, I went also for a trip, and I saw that same thing. That was pretty cool.
So neither trip did they mention anything about us?
Did not. Yours, Ross?
No.
They probably forgot.
That's next, Ken. That's next.
We're not there yet.
Maybe we'll move our show to D.C. someday. We'll be like, pardon the interruption. I think that's where they broadcast from. All right, great stuff, guys. Thanks for that again. And Ken, that was a fun show.
Absolutely. They're always fun. Always fun.
Want to say special thanks to our guest, Sammi Whiteman from Covington, for joining us. Thanks to the viewers out there for tuning in. Ken and I and the crew will all be back again next Thursday morning, same time, same place. Until then, have a great day, everyone.
Hanging at the fish report. 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 For your latest news in high school sports, tune in to the fish report. Don't need no bed, don't need no pull when you tune in to the fish report.